everybody, I'm back! I would like to give a big thank you to my friend Amanda for filling in for me last minute. Like literally, I asked her at 10:30 my time and she was like, okay, I'll do it. If you have not checked out either of her channels, she has two channels. She has her main channel and she has her other channel where she's doing song every day in April. I will put her links down below. So about 45 minutes ago, I was sitting in my drawing class and all of a sudden everybody freaks out and goes, oh my god, we just had an earthquake! And of course I'm sitting there like, no we didn't. I felt absolutely nothing. And then our principal comes over on the speaker system and says, everybody duck and cover, that was an earthquake! So we all get under our desks and there's gum everywhere. And we sat there for like 10 minutes. There weren't any aftershocks or anything. I mean, that was the first time I was in school during an earthquake, technically. So I guess in some sense it was kind of exciting. But when you've lived in California your entire life, we literally have an earthquake every 5 seconds. You just can't feel all of them. So whenever we get something higher than like a 2.5, everybody panics. I find it kind of hilarious. Anyway, I would still like to continue a question Sunday. Even though it's Monday, I realize that 2 of my question Sundays have not been on Sundays, but we're gonna do it anyway. How was prom? Prom was really a lot of fun. I'm sorry I don't have any crazy prom story I can tell you guys, but I will tell you one of my favorite parts of the night. So our prom was held at the San Francisco Design Center, and the dance floor, I guess, was in this big atrium, so it was just this big open space, and then there were the rest of the building. It was like balconies where all the offices were because it was like a design center. And then towards the back of the building there was this big glass elevator that you could ride up to go to, there was only like 4 stories, so you could ride up to the 4 stories. And so I'm standing there just talking to some people and I look up and coming down the elevator I see these 2 people just like dancing and jumping up and down in the elevator. I'm like, those 2 people are totally awesome. And I look closer and it's my best friend Carrie and her boyfriend Cameron. So they come back down and I'm with my friend Grace, her boyfriend Clay, me, and my date Ben. We all decide we go into the elevator and we ride all the way up to the top floor and we're just like dancing in the elevator and there's no music in the elevator. Although I kind of wish there was that cheesy elevator music, but it was totally silent. And we're just like dancing and jumping up and down in the elevator and you can see people, like at that point it had kind of cleared out so there weren't too many people, but you could see people just stop dancing and just look at us as we go up and then come back down. It was hilarious. Anyway, as I mentioned on Twitter last night, I posted all of my pictures on my Facebook and I just made the album public, so have fun stalking me. Matt Smith or David Tennant? Ah, the great Smith or Tennant debate. Here's my stance. I think both Matt Smith and David Tennant brought something totally different to the character of the Doctor. And David, while he was still very goofy, was able to be very serious when the time came. Even from the beginning of his time as the Doctor, when he was with Rose in season 2, to the very end and end of time, you saw a big change in him. And his regenerations was one of the only times I cried in Doctor Who. The other time being the season 2 finale with Rose. And it took me a while to warm up to David at first after losing Christopher Eccleston. And I honestly don't know why. Thinking back, I actually didn't like Christopher that much as a Doctor compared to David and Matt. But when Matt came, I fell in love with him like the first episode. He was just wild and over eccentric. I think even being younger than David, he was almost like a younger Doctor, just kind of in the way he handles things. His personality as a Doctor is so bipolar where he can be tons of fun one moment and then get totally serious the next moment. Anyway, when it comes to 2 of them, I think they're 2 totally different characters. You can't really choose either or. So that's my answer. Which superhero would you like to be? I know a lot of you are going to think I'm really lame for picking this answer, but if I had to be any superhero, I would definitely be Violet from The Incredibles. Because I would love to have the power of invisibility and the force field thing. But I guess my second choice would have to be that one girl from Teen Titans. The goth one that had the telekinetic powers. That would be so sick. How did you start vlogging on YouTube? Okay, story time. So back in 2003, 2004, before YouTube had even existed, I watched a lot of Red vs. Blue and Homestar Runner, you know, internet cartoons like that. And then YouTube got really popular when I was in like the 7th grade. I thought it was just some lame website where people uploaded videos of themselves being stupid. So at first I really didn't like YouTube. It wasn't until November of my sophomore year when my friend Amanda sent me a Julia Nunes video actually, and she said, you have to check this girl out. She covers Beatles songs in the ukulele. Like, I know you love the Beatles. You have to check her out. She's totally awesome. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch her. And I totally fell in love with Julia Nunes after that. And to this day, she is my favorite person on YouTube. So I was totally obsessed with Julia Nunes, and in her videos she always talked about this guy named John Green. And I was like, okay, I'll look him up, you know. And that's how I discovered the Vlogbrothers. I officially became a nerd fighter in January of 2009, I believe. And I introduced the Vlogbrothers to my good friend Kelly, who I'm sure you guys all are familiar with. And when she was going away to college in the summer, we decided we wanted to start our own video blogging project. Oh my god, so original! That's how Margot Alaska got started, and almost 2 years later, I'm still making videos on YouTube. Anyway, I'm sorry I can only answer a couple of your questions today. I really didn't want this video to be too long. Thanks again to Amanda for filling in for me yesterday. Seriously, go check out her channels. I'm gonna go watch Battlestar Galactica, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.